Off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship.
They say silence is golden, but sometimes silence screams. And in the Diddy federal case, silence just might be the loudest scream of all. A scream of fear, of power, of secrets too dangerous to speak aloud. Because this isn't just a celebrity scandal, this isn't just another courtroom drama, this is a story about a woman, a key witness who was ready to expose everything. And then she vanished. No warning, no goodbye, just disappeared. At first, it looked like maybe she'd just had enough. Maybe the pressure became too much. Maybe the weight of facing a billionaire mogul in federal court was just too heavy to carry. But then Jaguar Wright entered the picture, and she didn't just bring gossip, she brought allegations that shook the entire case to its core. According to her, this woman didn't disappear by choice. She was taken, silenced, and the person responsible? None other than Diddy himself. Let's rewind for a moment. This case wasn't built overnight. It was years, even decades, in the making. Whispered rumors, lawsuits that were quietly settled, victims who came forward only to vanish again into silence. But when federal prosecutors assembled their case against Diddy, they believed they had what they needed. A group of women, survivors, who were finally ready to speak. And among them was one woman known only as Victim 3. She wasn't just another name. She was the prosecution's crown jewel. The one with the receipts, the one with the power to unravel the entire operation from the inside out. Victim 3 had already pledged to testify. She was prepared to tell the world what had happened behind closed doors. The manipulation, the coercion, the so-called freak-offs that court documents now describe as dark, orchestrated performances of abuse. And she wasn't just going to testify under code. She agreed to use her real name. That was the turning point, because once she gave up her anonymity, the game changed. And just days later, she was gone. To the prosecution, this was a disaster. Without Victim 3, their case became fragile. What had once looked like an airtight operation suddenly had a gaping hole. No one could contact her, not even her own legal team. Law enforcement admitted they were worried, not just about her well-being, but about the integrity of the trial itself. The possibility of witness intimidation was real. And then Jaguar Wright stepped forward and dropped the real bomb. Jaguar didn't hesitate. She said what everyone else was too scared to suggest, that Diddy's team had gotten to her, that the missing witness wasn't hiding out of fear. She was being kept from testifying, kidnapped, allegedly, taken by force. Jaguar even hinted that there were receipts, proof, clues, trails, and the timing? It was damning. The moment Victim 3 agreed to testify openly, she vanished. That's not just suspicious. That's surgical. But that raised another question. Who was Victim 3, and why was her testimony so critical? That's when speculation pointed in one direction. Gina Hu, Diddy's former girlfriend. Someone who had been in his orbit for years, who had already publicly spoken about the trauma she endured, and who had been eerily quiet in recent months. Gina had previously opened up about how Diddy treated her, how he allegedly offered her money to terminate pregnancies, how he emotionally and verbally tormented her, how he isolated her and left her broken. Gina's stories weren't just emotional, they were specific. She spoke of timelines, events, conversations. She didn't sound like someone clout-chasing. She sounded like someone who had lived through hell. And when she said no to Diddy's offers, when she kept the baby against his wishes or refused his money, she said everything changed. The man who once showed her affection became cruel, belittling, controlling. That shift wasn't just a breakup. It was the beginning of psychological warfare. Her silence now speaks volumes, because right around the time Victim 3 disappeared, Gina did too. Her social media went dark. Her public appearances stopped. No interviews, no posts, nothing. For someone who once shared so much, that sudden silence couldn't be ignored. And it didn't help that she had just been in the middle of a brutal online feud with another woman in Diddy's life. Young Miami. That feud wasn't just petty drama. It was a glimpse into something deeper. A power struggle between two women who'd both been entangled in the same toxic web. Gina accused Miami of mocking her pain. Miami clapped back with savage insults. They exposed each other's secrets, mocked each other's trauma, and dragged Diddy into the center of it all. But underneath the tweets and stories, you could see the pattern. Diddy pitted women against each other. He made them compete for validation, for attention, for survival. And when you look at what the feds uncovered, it's no wonder Gina might have finally had enough. The indictment laid everything out: a system of manipulation, a network of control. Women recruited, transported, isolated, all under the guise of fame and fortune. But behind the promises were threats. Behind the glamour was violence. Freak-offs, according to the documents, were not consensual parties. They were coordinated performances. Women were allegedly forced to perform for Diddy and his guests, sometimes including male commercial workers. And if they refused, their careers vanished. Their financial support dried up. Their lives collapsed. Victim 3 was supposed to expose that, to give it a face, to tell the court under oath what really went on. And now she's gone. That's not a coincidence. That's a red flag waving in front of the justice system. The feds are scrambling. They can't go public with her name, especially if her life is in danger. But they've hinted that fear is involved, and that makes Jaguar's claim all the more terrifying. Because if someone like Diddy, someone with wealth, connections, and reach, is truly capable of silencing a witness mid-trial, what does that say about how deep this goes? And that's where the real panic sets in. This trial isn't just about one man's alleged crimes. It's about a system that allowed those crimes to go unchecked for years, maybe decades. Because Diddy isn't just a rapper. He's a businessman, a cultural force, a symbol of success. And when someone like that falls, they don't fall alone. They take people with them. The question is, how many people are going to get exposed before this is over? Diddy's team insists this is all lies, that the accusations come from bitter exes and jealous women, that everything was consensual, that this is about tearing down a powerful black man for doing what others in the industry have done for years. But the facts? They're piling up. And now the feds are coming not just for Diddy's reputation, they're coming for his money, his assets, his empire. If the court proves that his businesses were built on exploitation, they can seize everything. Every dollar, every mansion, every investment, gone. And without Victim 3's testimony, the clock is ticking. His lawyers smell blood in the water. They've already filed to delay the trial, to call for mistrial, and if she doesn't reappear, they just might win, which is why Jaguar writes accusations matter more than ever. She's not just causing drama, she's ringing the alarm bell. She's saying what others won't say out loud, that this case was sabotaged, and that the person responsible isn't hiding in the shadows. He's sitting at the defense table, so now we wait for the truth, for the witness, for the reckoning. Because whether you believe Jaguar or not, something dark is unfolding behind the scenes. And if we've learned anything from the past, it's that when money and power are threatened, people start to disappear. The question is, who's next? The internet never forgets. Fans are connecting dots. Independent investigators are watching every move. The pressure is building. And Diddy? He's running out of room to hide. This isn't just about one trial. This is about everything. His image, his legacy, his control. One missing woman has the power to shatter it all, but only if she makes it back.